Good evening, folks. This is Andy Pedraza with Special Effects Academy. We're on the start of the week session for the Forex trading room for January 10th of 2021. We will be going through our usual agenda, a look at the prior week's results, our currency strength meter for the month and week, fundamental announcements on the calendar, a look at the major pairs on the daily charts, any setups in progress, and a few words in conclusion. Starting with the ledgers, long-term ledger, we have not done anything to this account. So we have 3 trades open. We're still carrying them. Nothing was closed throughout the week. So we are in what I like to call a trending market, even though we have a lot of bounce in the market right now, lots of volatility. But ultimately, it looks like we are trending in several currency pairs, and we will be attempting to ride those trends until they conclude. So this is going to be the norm unless something changes. We'll be carrying our trades and just letting them go off to wherever they will. We are carrying some nice levels of profit on the long-term account right now. Intermediate term ledger, we're actually carrying a loss on this account on the open trades. We've got 2 losers, 1 winner. The winner is the USD Swiss. The pound pairs are negative at the time I'm recording this. And same as with the long-term account, we won't be changing anything. In fact, we haven't done any trades on this account in the middle of December. So again, we're in a trending market, and even though some of the trades are negative, we do expect them to come back and perform and give us some profit, assuming things go according to the way the trends are pointing. So again, no changes on this account. And on the short-term ledger, this was the only account that had a trade this week that just ended. We did open a long on the pound Swiss to match our long on the euro dollar, which was a carryover from the week before. So we've got 2 trades open right now. And between the 2 of them, we were pretty much at break even as the week ended. I think we're carrying a very, very small amount of profit. The euro dollar in particular has been extremely bouncy. We've been carrying 70, 75 pips in profit and actually ended the week with negative 30 or somewhere in that realm. So an extremely bouncy euro dollar. Pound Swiss looking like a better recovery as the pound uh, just overpowers the Swiss, or at least that's what's happening last week. We'll see how the week starts, but we are going to be letting these trades run as well. Notes and opportunities for improvement. A very busy week on the geopolitical scene. We had rioting in the U.S. Capitol early in the week with, I guess, a lot of chaos there. It's really not clear who was rioting, what was taken, what wasn't taken, what ended up happening. We're getting conflicting stories from the different media, so I'm not going to give an opinion there. I wasn't there. So it is whatever you're seeing in the news, depending which news outlet you're looking at. Trump is under threat of impeachment yet again, second time, and with only 1 week left in his tenure in the White House. Not really sure what they want to accomplish trying an impeachment when he's already leaving in a week, but that's what they're doing. The USD continues at multi-year lows, commodities such as oil, silver, gold ending strong. Significant January events continue to be the Brexit fallout, the election fallout, plus the chaos I just mentioned, and COVID developments as we have a new strain of COVID out of the UK that is starting to spread worldwide. It's not clear yet whether the vaccine will work against the new variety of COVID. To me, it's not even clear if the vaccine works, period. But again, I'm trying not to inject my opinions here. You're capable of looking at the sources and the news yourselves. And in other news, Bitcoin has doubled the previous high from a few years back, the previous high at 20,000. It actually went beyond 40,000 last week before having a significant retrace into the mid 30,000. So lots of volatility there as well. You guys have been with me long enough, know that I do not invest in Bitcoin. I may trade it here and there, but the last time I did that, it was around 5,000 and I rode it to 20,000. I'm not willing to put $20,000 or more of money into something I don't believe in, but it is what it is. So take a look at that if that's something you do. I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a significant retrace before all is said and done on Bitcoin. But again, that's not my area of expertise. Relative strength meter for the week and month. If I may direct your attention to the rightmost columns on the monthly, we can see that the bigger movers, and this is pretty odd, but both gold and silver have retraced. Silver 4.57% and gold 2.85% for the month. And this is partly a result that the stock market continues to go higher and higher. So there is no incentive for people to pile into bullion while the stock market is still performing. And on the flip side of that, there's a lot of interest in Bitcoin after it did what it did in the last couple of weeks. So a lot of money has been pouring speculation, and that usually does not end well. But we're seeing the slump in gold and silver. Not a huge slump. And I'm pretty sure that 2021 is going to be a good year for the metals, but this is where we are right now. Let's see what else on the monthly. The only other currency pair that is above 1% for the month is the Aussie JPY at 1.4. Everything else is somewhere between positive and negative 0.75. So not a whole lot of movement yet. Again, we're just 1 week into the month, really. On the weekly, we didn't have any big movers on the currencies. Only gold and silver were the movers. And of course, the week and the month are the same numbers right now, pretty much. Fundamental announcements for the week, none. Well, I shouldn't say none. You can see them there on your screen, but none that will be traded. There are no interest rate decisions, no labor reports, no announcements from central banks, a lot of consumer price index, the CPIs, retail sales, manufacturing production, and GDPs. So nothing I would actively trade. So this is going to be a quiet week, at least as regards fundamentals. With that, we move on to the charts. Commodities, I mentioned that oil, gold, and silver are doing well despite last week's slump in gold and silver, but oil had no slump. It continues going higher, finally breaking past $50 a barrel on the WTI. So we are in an uptrend now, a breakout at least, the beginning of an uptrend on oil. And well, we'll have to see where it goes. And of course, pay close attention to the Canadian pair since their economy is so closely linked to oil. With that, we move on to the currencies. Euro dollar, we can see that euro dollar has been in an uptrend since all the way back in March of last year. And it does go sideways every now and then or do a little bit of a retrace. And Thursday, Friday was precisely that sort of a retrace, but also it made a higher high on Wednesday. And of course, we'll have to see how the week kicks off to see whether we're going to have more retrace or a continuation. Pound dollar, more sideways. Now, it's a little bit of a drop after it hit the topmost level of resistance, but we're still in a very, very nice uptrend, a bullish market on the pound dollar. USD JPY in a downtrend into dollar weakness, but the yen did not have a good week. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it retraced back into dollar strength, yen weakness, but did not come close to that trend line acting as resistance. This is a good pair to short. I do expect dollar weakness being the flavor of the month. And of course, this is a selling opportunity. You want to sell the highest you can so that you grab as much of that profit as possible. So this is a very good opportunity the USD JPY is giving us, and it is high on my radar as the week begins. USD Canadian also downtrend into dollar weakness and actually quite a nice move last week, but it did go flat Wednesday into Friday, but nice drop on Tuesday, giving us a nice chunk of profit. We do have an open trade on the USD CAD. USD Swiss, same thing. It is in a downtrend. It was a little bit bouncy last week. Ultimately, didn't move much for the week. It dropped and then it went back up, ending pretty much where it had started, but still in a nice bit of a downtrend, which we are taking advantage of. Aussie dollar breaking out at the top, testing support as the week ended. Very small retrace, more of a sideways end of week than anything else, and it is in an extreme bullish movement right now. Same with the Kiwi dollar. Nice uptrend, nice breakout. It's in uncharted territory at this point, at least as regards the daily chart. Did the same retrace almost every other dollar pair did Thursday into Friday, but it was not deep. And even on Friday, it was already starting to go back up. That's it for the dollar pairs. Aussie Canadian also getting close to a breakout from the top, and it is in a nice bullish pattern after being sideways for an extended period. So we had a breakout a few weeks back, and now it's trying to climb even higher. Euro Swiss, we've been pausing this chart or not paying too much attention to it. It is in a rather wide sideways pattern and still isn't breaking out above below. So while it continues doing that, we can safely ignore it. Euro pound had a nice end of week, nice drop into pound strength against the euro, but ultimately it did end up higher than it began. So we had technically a bullish week, but we can see that there is weakness in the euro pound and it is trying to head down. Euro JPY at the very top of the chart did a retrace on Friday after hitting resistance on Thursday. And of course, another one where we want to see how the week kicks off. Euro Canadian also in a sideways pattern, much like the Euro Swiss. And right now it's getting very near the bottom of the channel or the sideways range it's been in, and did do a nice drop throughout the week. So good mover, one of the few pairs that moved significantly, but it's still above support. So we're going to wait until we see a break either way. Pound JPY, yet another chart at the very top. So the pound is gaining strength against the yen. I mentioned the yen did not have a good week, and the pound, it's had better weeks, but it wasn't terrible either. So we saw some nice recovery from the pound against the yen. We're trading this one as well, and we were carrying a nice chunk of profit on it, I think, on the long-term account. We're waiting for a breakout of resistance at the top and to take us away to bigger and better gains. Aussie JPY, yet another chart at the very topmost level of resistance, and we're looking for that breakout or that bounce. I don't care which one it is. I think there's good opportunities either way. Euro New Zealand breaking out of the bottom. We're waiting to see if it does continue. The Euro New Zealand has a habit of doing these breakouts, which then fail and it goes all the way back up to resistance. And it actually does so quite quickly. You don't want to get caught on the wrong side of that. But if it keeps dropping, we're going to have to put some money on this one. Pound Canadian dropping into Canadian strength against the pound. Partly it's the oil price going up, but also, as I said, the pound did not have the best of weeks. So we did see some slippage. This went back into a wedge, and it is getting to the end of that wedge. So it'll break out one way or another, even if it's on sideways action. So another pair to keep an eye on for opportunities. We're already trading this one, I think, on the intermediate, and we're going to be keeping that trade open, looking for it to start rising. Pound Swiss trying to head up as the weekend did on Friday. It went up quite a nice chunk actually before coming back down to where it started. Ultimately, it ended up the week slightly lower than where it started, but still it is in recovery mode and it is not breaking support. So everything still points towards a good opportunity for some upward gain. Pound Aussie at the very bottom of the chart, and I've mentioned this before, I think that is a very strong level of support. Thursday and Friday, it was showing signs of life trying to go back up. Didn't quite manage it as the week ended, so we're going to have to see what the new week brings. But I think this is a safe bet for a long position, and we are trading it in that direction already. since support is so strong right where it is. That's it for the charts. Setups we see in progress, of course, on the pound pairs. The fallout from Brexit, what it actually means, has been playing out. So we have seen the pound with high volatility as a result. In the US, there's no gentler way of putting it. The US is in utter political chaos, which is probably going to continue far beyond Trump's exit from the White House and Biden's inauguration. So I don't see any good news for the dollar anytime soon, and the weakness is expected to continue. The Kiwi pairs, the Kiwi is showing strength across the board, and it doesn't look like it's stopping. So looks like the market is in love with the Kiwi, and if that's the case, we will continue trading it in that direction. But be very careful. New Zealand is not a large economy, at least not compared to the other ones we have here on the board, the UK, the US, Switzerland, and the European Union. So it doesn't take much to shift the wind on the Kiwi. So be careful with that one. The Swiss pairs, of course, the Swiss is a safe haven currency, and it's already holding its own against pretty much everybody across the board. So, on much like the New Zealand, on the slightest bit of bad news elsewhere, good news in Switzerland, we may see some major moves. And last but not least, the euro, it is struggling while the market decides whether or not the Brexit agreement is good for the EU. So that will continue to play out for weeks, maybe months to come. But all in all, I think there's a pretty good shot that the EU is, the euro, I'm sorry, is going to be outpacing the dollar significantly. What it does against the other currencies, your guess is as good as mine. But again, I'm very bearish on the dollar right now, and the euro dollar is a prime contender to have to play that out. And that is it. A few final words. And of course, given the situation last week, this one is about control. Traders don't need to understand economics or politics. I've always said if you can read a chart, you can trade well. But it certainly helps if you understand the underlying factors that move the currencies. What we're seeing right now is the age old game of control playing out. People in power are fans of control. Obviously, when you're in power, you want things under control. You want people obeying whatever laws you are handing out, whether or not they're good for everybody else. The rest of us, those of us not in power, not into politics, if we're moderately smart, we are fans of freedom. And trading is a free man's game. It's us and our money with no need for anyone else. Yeah, of course, we need a broker, we need banks, we need tools. We're not living isolated on an island, but we don't need other people around to do what we do. We don't have bosses, we don't have employees. It's just us and our money trading day in and day out. I happen to enjoy that very much. But you may want to pay attention to what's playing out right now. There is a pretty strong chance that rules are going to be changing. If you're in the US, of course. If not, well, then figure it out wherever you are. But the rules that banking, trading, and everything has to follow, they might be changing with the new administration. So if you have any interest in any of this at all, you may want to pay close attention to whatever comes out of the White House, out of Congress in the months to come. And, well, judge accordingly and figure out what you need to do. Of course, I will be alerting everyone of anything I see happening, but you are the master of your destiny. You don't have to wait for me to tell you what to do. I think you are all smart enough to figure it out on your own. And of course, if you do need to bounce some ideas off of anyone, I'm always here for you guys. So that's going to be it for us this session. Do I have any comments or questions before we drop off? Okay, folks, thank you very much. That's a wrap. We will see you tomorrow night on our first trading session of the week. Have a great rest of a weekend. Take care.